It's hot. Oh, we're live.
Great. There we go.
We did it.
Third week in a row without John. He's still at the convention, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Or wait, the convention, is it this weekend or was it last weekend?
The convention is actually this weekend.
Okay. I'm surprised it wasn't last weekend because it was a long weekend.
Yeah, that would have made
Seems
more
like
sense.
seems like a good weekend to use up, I guess, but either way. So I guess last weekend he was just working. Now
Yes.
he's working.
Now he's
You
working
know what I'm
it.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy knows how to work. Um so yeah, no John. He says he'll be back next week though, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the last week. I'll be here for a few weeks, so we can have a threefer.
Yeah.
Like the last bit of May, the third guest is the love between the two hosts.
Yes.
Uh, Specifically here on the top-down perspective. Before we get into what we usually talk about, did you see Mad
No.
Max?
No.
Oh
Because when
man,
I went to go see it, it was sold out.
that's
Nice, huh?
crazy.
I was so
That's
mad. When's the
that's
last time
crazy.
you've gone to a movie that was sold out?
Like, yeah. I mean, I guess technically I've never gone to a movie that was sold out.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess unless I got tickets early and then it sold out. I'm sure I've been to plenty of those. But the last time I can actually think of a movie where they were like, "No, it's already sold out," was Ted one. Was Ted?
Oh
Because two isn't
no.
out yet. It was a Tuesday night,
Yeah,
the Tuesday before, just after it came out,
that's
which makes
right.
sense. That was cheap day. Um, and that which ended up being good because when I eventually did see that on DVD, I hate that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really bad.
it's not good at all. I'm just surprised Mad Max is still sold out. Like two, it's been out for a week or two now. What is it? No, it's been a few weeks, right? Two or
I
three.
think two at least. Yeah.
Let's see. Last Friday was Tomorrowland, so it must have been like the Friday before or two before that. I can't remember exactly which one it was,
So
but
this is the third week then.
second or third week, and it's still sold out. That's crazy. Did you go on like a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay,
That
so
so like I should have seen it coming, but at the same time, who
yeah,
would
I
have
don't know.
thought?
Um, are you trying for next Tuesday then?
No, I'll try this weekend, like proper
Okay.
weekend. So,
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good movie. You definitely should be going to see that movie.
hmm
Um, but anyway, I guess yeah, like I mentioned earlier, top down perspective. That's this podcast. I'm Sean Booker. That's Paul Fleck.
Hi.
Um, it what's the picture for John this week? Is it
It's
Michelangelo again?
it's his Facebook picture.
It's his Facebook picture. Okay,
Yeah.
just checking in. It's May 27th. Um,
Yep. Early. We're doing it early.
we're doing it a day early. Yeah, I got a birthday party I want to go to tomorrow, so we're doing it a day early.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's not my birthday; it's a friend's birthday.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I guess I'll tell them happy birthday. Um,
Yeah.
I want to get into what I've been playing because I've been playing some sweet stuff.
Well, one of
Um,
them you've been playing a while and you can finally talk about. So,
right. I mentioned it last week that I had been playing Splatoon.
yes.
Um, as of that recording, I haven't finished it yet. As of now, I have finished Splatoon.
Okay.
Let's so you ask me anything about Splatoon, I know the answer.
Is it good?
Um, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay.
My one complaint with it primarily is I don't particularly like the aiming controls.
Mm.
You have to aim, and it's only up and down really. I guess you can aim left and right, but so you have to move the gamepad using the gyroscope.
Okay.
So you're tilting the gamepad to aim, which is annoying. And they even get like the gamepad has a right analog stick, and it allows you to go left and right with that. You just can't go up and down, which is odd. Like, why are you only giving me half controls with this stick? Um, and I think you
Hmm.
can also rotate the gamepad to aim left and right. So you could just stick to one of them, but it would have been nice if I could just stick to only the analog stick primarily as my aiming uh,
hmm
control input. That's mainly it. Apart from that, the game is real fluid, pun intended. Uh,
Okay.
it's fast. It's really fast. When you transform into the squid, by like holding down left trigger, and then you're able to swim through your paint. You just book it. Um, so things are constantly exploding and splatting, and the music like it's got a real like kind of jet grind radio um, aesthetic to it, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Um, Actually, you know what? Another thing that kind of put me off that I'm thinking about it again
Hmm.
is you only have access to two of the maps each day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many of the maps there are, but if you're not playing ranked battles, which you can't play ranked battles until you reach level 10 in your multiplayer level by gaining experience by playing online games. So if you're not playing ranked battles and you're just playing standard like player matches, you can only play two of the maps, and they rotate each day. So when you turn the game on, you have to go through this quick little dialogue thing of them explaining which maps are available, which is kind of annoying because you can't skip it, and you have to listen to that every single day, and it's like the same
God,
text,
that's terrible.
which is annoying. And then you get to play the two of those for that day. If you are level 10 and up, you can play ranked, and there'll be one or two more different maps that you can play as, some of which are never even available to you in player matches. So for the majority of my time playing online, I I only saw a subset of the maps and could only play them two at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
That
that was a bit of a bummer.
yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Like especially when because they don't swap out both the maps each day. So sometimes you'll play two maps, then the second day you'll come to it, and only one of the maps will have been switched out. So you get to play one new map and one that you played a bunch yesterday.
Huh. Well,
so that does kind of suck.
What if you really liked a map from yesterday, though? Then that's kind of cool.
I guess that's kind of cool.
I guess.
For sure.
Or just give me the option to always play that map if I want to.
Yeah, just give me all the maps all
Yeah,
the time. Like,
yeah.
I don't. Why not?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand is why not.
Holding the fun hostage.
Actually, you know, speaking of which, I was trying to remember what that slogan was. Like yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I was like, what was the quote we came up with? We're making fun of Nintendo at E3, and yeah, you're right. It's holding the fun hostage. What a coincidence.
Yep.
I can't even remember why we came up with that.
Because Nintendo always does that. Like,
But it must have been something. Specifically what from E3 last year?
What started it?
Yeah, like what were we like? Why is Nintendo doing this? It's clearly them holding the fun hostage. Why are they doing that? And for the life of me, I cannot remember.
If you're a super fan, write into topdownperspective@gmail.com and tell us why that started.
Yeah, if anyone in the chat remembers, basically a year ago episodes where we determined Nintendo was holding the fun hostage. I'm trying to think what were they talking about last E3? They mentioned, I think they announced Splatoon. They must have talked about Smash Bros. Amiibos. I don't even know. But yeah, if anyone can remember why Nintendo is
Something to do with online.
The chat's saying it had something to do with online, but I can't quite remember it. Anyway,
No.
I guess yes. Continuing their great scheme of holding the fun hostage, Nintendo will let you play two, maybe 3 or 4 maps a day. So that's just really odd. Other than that, though, the story mode is pretty fun. Specifically, the way you choose between each of the levels you play through, like it's kind of like an overworld where you're running around, and it's cool because there are these big structures that you're like climbing, and because you can also turn into a squid and swim up walls. So there's this kind of jungle gym that you get to play in while literally finding where the next level is. So I actually had a lot of fun just with that overworld part, which is hard to say because if you think of like a Mario, who has fun on the overworld, right? You just walk to the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
But I actually did have fun finding each world, and because they're all invisible until you get close enough and you see like the light shimmering, then you paint them to, oh, here's the opening to the next world.
Hmm.
And you can customize your character with different outfits and stuff. And there's tons of different weapons. Um, the roller is pretty fun because that's just completely different from using the guns.
Hmm.
It's like a close ranged close range weapon that can put a lot of paint down at once because it's like a paint roller. So yeah, overall, I had a good deal of fun with it. Um, I'll be writing up a review sometime this week.
Okay.
Um,
How would you compare it to like? Okay, so get this right. My favorite game ever is Call of Duty. My name on Xbox is XOXO Call of Duty Guy XOXO.
right.
So will I
I'm
like this?
fully aware. Yes. Will you like this? I no.
Okay. Okay. So
I
that's
mean,
what I'm kind of getting at is like it doesn't play like an average
like how
shooter.
hardcore is it? See, yeah, you know, yeah, I wouldn't say it's that hardcore because in terms of like analyzing it from a shooter perspective, um, you have to pump in a lot of paint on people before they'll explode. The whole sliding through the paint is completely unique, um, which I guess someone could argue, considering a lot of shooters are kind of going like the sci-fi route and they're like having double jumps and
Yeah.
stuff now
Yeah.
and the speed boosts. But still being able to basically go underground was kind of unique. Climbing up the walls is a lot of fun. If I had to try and compare it to any kind of specific shooter feeling wise, nah, it's kind of unique.
Cool.
Um, but I wouldn't say it feels like kiddie in any way. Like I would think if you are into shooters, you might get something out of it still.
I'm be
Um,
Junkie in the chat saying it's more like the TF2 kind of audience.
yeah, sure. That's pretty lighthearted too. Although people can get like pretty crazy with TF2.
I know a guy who almost has 1,000 hours in TF2, and I don't know what he's doing with his life.
That's crazy. Another
Yes.
question in the chat. Can you use the Pro controller? I'm actually not sure. I don't have a Pro controller. I was just using the gamepad.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that. I
Pro
guess I should
controller
also
would be
mention.
cool.
Yeah, I think you can. Because I know you can play multiplayer, and then the other person can use. Actually, maybe not. Because I know when I was saying the multiplayer option, you could use a Wiimote and nunchuck. It specifically said. I'm not sure if it said the Pro controller. So, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. There's nothing you like as long as they let you use the right analog stick for all of your aiming, which I don't see how like it should be possible.
Yeah.
Then I would assume you could.
Homer's saying I know
But
you can use a Pro for second player.
right, okay.
So, yeah.
Like remember, this is the company that put out New Super Mario Bros. U without controller support originally.
Right. Right.
So, um, holding the fun hostage once again,
Yeah.
possibly reigning supreme. Um, Also, someone's saying you can turn the motion controls off in the demo. Surely you can in the single player too. I really didn't look in the options because even though the controls were a bit annoying, I got used to them
Yeah.
after a bit, and then it just kind of worked. Like I said, it's not that hardcore of a shooter. Um, and what I was about to get into is even though you can shoot and attack the other opponents, your real goal in the multiplayer is painting as much of the area as you can. Like it doesn't matter how many kills you get. At the end of the day, it shows you an overview, a top-down perspective. If you will follow me down this hole.
Hey, I'm following. Preach it.
I hope so. A top-down perspective of the map covered in paint, and then a percentage meter on both sides and who got the most paint. That's the winner. Which is interesting because you could just try and ignore people and try and paint like walls and stuff, which I often did. Like I was trying to see which walls are paintable, and I would do that, or So there's plenty of different options, which is definitely fun and unique. Yeah. Other than that, I will say the final boss is pretty interesting. There's boss fights which were always quite fun. They use the mechanics in a bunch of different ways, the whole painting stuff. So that was pretty exciting. I
Cool.
enjoyed Splatoon. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Um, I
What
guess
about VLR?
VLR. Yeah. So I just finished that today. Just like an hour before we started this podcast, I wrapped up VLR 100%. Saw every single ending,
Okay.
which is something I didn't do in 999. In 999, I think I saw three endings, two of which you have to see because one's the actual ending. Um, but VLR, you definitely need to see a lot more of the endings, almost all of them. But
Did you feel
yeah,
good
that
about it overall?
uh, overall, yes, it left me on a bit more of a sour note than 999 did. I think I enjoyed playing VLR more than 999, but I think the conclusion I preferred was 999 over VLR. VLR ends on like a cliffhanger that really tries to set up where the next game could go,
Uh-huh.
whereas 999 really kind of answered like every question going on and then had one final cliffhanger that was like, well, what is that about? Whereas, yeah, like I said, VLR is more at the end, kind of setting up what the third game might be. From which what I've been hearing, kind of following that a bit, is that game is having very hard times getting funded. It might not come out, or it might only come out in Japan, which would be a huge bummer.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I still need to get into those games. So,
right. I know you were kind of looking at prices last week. Did you end up purchasing anything, or are you just looking?
no, I was just looking. I
Right.
like, yeah, I know people say it's really good. I haven't just bitten the bullet yet, though. I will.
999 is real good. I like visual novels. What can I say?
Yeah.
Um,
We were saying Hotel Dusk. That shit
Hotel
was
Dusk
great.
is Hotel Dusk is real good. Yeah, yeah. Ghost Trick. Everyone on Top Down Perspective knows Ghost Trick is a great game.
That's not true, because I don't know it.
I meant like the listeners out there.
Yes.
Um,
They're all smarter than me, though, so that's fine.
but like yeah. So yeah, I'm just reading people in the chat are saying some VLR praise. VLR is great. I had a lot of fun with it. There's some good twists. And there's some also ones at the end where I just felt this is getting a bit silly, and like I can't totally follow your suspension of disbelief in this case. But
Gotcha. Yeah.
overall, fun time. Took me 32 hours. I think the last 2 hours were literally just reading info dumps about here's how everything was going on, which is always fun. Um, I like it when the game tries to wrap up absolutely everything, so that was good to see. Um, and yeah, so it's nice that I can finally put my Vita down and play something else.
Yes. Go
And
back to your
actually,
DS.
speaking of which, yeah, go back specifically. Yeah, I was gonna say go back to my DS because I got a code for Puzzles and Dragons Z plus Super Mario Puzzles and Dragons, whatever
Oh my
the hell
god.
that thing is. A review code came in for that, and I figured, well, now I know for sure which system I'm bringing on my trip.
That's so good. That is great timing.
It is really good timing for sure because that's two games in one, and it probably meaty enough that it'll be good on a plane, specifically while listening to a podcast. It should be. I'm really excited for that. I've
Yeah.
been hearing some good stuff. Um, and also I was trying to figure out how can I get my 3DS to Europe to charge because last time I was in Europe, the voltage wasn't correct for the wall adapter.
Yeah.
Like I had the adapter, but it wasn't a converter, and so my 3DS wouldn't charge. My phone would charge, but my 3DS wasn't. And I think
Hmm.
my solution, and I'm hoping this works. If anyone out there thinks I'm wrong, please let me know. Um, but I'm bringing an external battery USB powered, in case I'm out and about and I need to charge my phone or something. And I just ordered on Amazon a 3DS to USB cable.
Okay.
So I'm hoping I could charge my 3DS through USB because I'm bringing my iPhone dock, or charge my external battery and then charge my 3DS off that.
Sure.
And I'm assuming since my iPhone was able to get power through the USB dock last time, that anything else will be able to through through the USB dock. So hopefully that'll do it, and I'm not walking around with a dead 3DS again for a week and a half.
Yeah. You gotta get
Um,
those street passes. those regions
I
unlocked.
really, really want those street passes. You have no idea. And
Yeah.
like, because I'm staying in hostels, right?
Yes.
Hostels are a gold mine for foreign street passes because they might not even be from Europe,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And
They might
my
be
thing,
from San Francisco area.
oh man, wouldn't that suck? But like, and I'm from Canada. I'm a hot commodity. They want me over there.
It's true. You're the
I'm like,
rarest breed of human.
exactly, right? Like, it's a big country, but there's not a lot of us.
Right.
I'm like a sirloin steak. Everyone wants some of that.
It's true. Not
Yeah.
only that, but you're technically an American right now too. So you are Canadian living in America. So you are like the
Right.
hottest of topics right now.
Although that has nothing to do with street passing.
No, but it could. It
I
it
mean,
does when you're there because you're
I guess,
Canadian
yeah.
in America.
That's true. When all the San Franciscans or whatever are walking around and they're like, "Whoa, Canadian! Whoa, cool!
Whoa.
Whoa." That's true. I'm always a hot topic. That's true.
It's true.
So yeah, hopefully I'll be starting that up at some point and playing that over my trip. Although I have a lot of 3DS games to play right now, but we can talk about that in the news section. Um, I'm going to briefly talk about Game of Thrones episode 4, Telltale's Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Finished that last night. Came out yesterday. Um, yeah, all one sitting. Pretty fairly good episode. A good bit of action at the end. A lot of kind of sneaking around sections, so some good suspense. I think I preferred episode 3 more just from what was going on and and kind of what you were put up against. 4 seems like it's kind of setting up a lot of stuff to happen.
Okay.
But
Makes
for the
sense.
most part, I was enjoying my time with it. I'll have more detailed write up thoughts again on Comic Book Bin this week, like with Splatoon.
Hmm.
But yeah, those continue to be fun. Uh, I'm I like episodic games. I like that there's so many happening. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
Specifically, let us both now talk a bit about Life is Strange episode 3.
Oh my god, how do you talk a bit about it without ruining everything?
That's why we're only talking a little bit about it. So yeah, this came out last week.
Yes.
Another awesome episode, right? Like these guys just keep hitting it out of the park.
So, there's one thing I want to bring up, and I'm going to do this as vaguely as possible,
Okay.
but there's still a chance that somebody might, like, get an idea. So, maybe just keep that in mind. It'll only be, like, a second here. What
Okay, so what you're saying, hang on, is if someone wants like a completely clean playthrough of this game, maybe don't listen to the next few minutes, but we're gonna try our best.
I'm not even going to name names or what happens. I'm just going to say that something that happens in this episode feels like if they do it wrong could undermine the reason why I played the other two just completely.
Are you okay? I'm gonna try and respond to that. Are you saying maybe it's getting too big? It's not as grounded?
I'm saying maybe it's getting to the point they could make it so that like all of the work and stuff I put into the first 2 episodes and all the stuff I love doing and finding out about that place might be for naught completely. Like it might have just been a red herring because maybe something changed.
Okay. Well, I'm not 100% sure what you're specifically talking about, but I can't ask you more about it. I have like a big question because for episode 2, your episode and my episode did quite differently.
Yes.
And that was a huge point going through episode 3 for me.
Really?
So I was wondering, like, what is yours? What's going on in yours?
They've mentioned it in passing a few times, but nothing big.
Because like at the end of episode 2, for me, something bad happened, right?
Yes.
Whereas for you, you had a good outcome. Nothing really happened, right? It was anticlimactic. There was a non-event.
Yeah, sure.
So at the beginning of mine episode, everyone is just like, "Oh crap, that happened." And for like the first half of the episode, everyone is talking about it and they're all bummed out. What's going on in yours? Is it just like a normal, like we're hanging out at school? Like what's
Well, everybody's kind of like still mixed up as to what
Are they
happened.
just like shocked that it almost happened, kind of?
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of the same
Oh,
thing, but
okay, okay,
it hasn't taken a play like done anything with the actual story outcome of 3 yet.
okay,
Like, yeah.
okay. Well, and again, because with the way episode 3 ends,
Yes.
so you basically you get you get a new power, kind of, right? It's all about time, time manipulation. You get a new power at the
I
end of
wouldn't
3.
say it's a
That's
new
all I'll
power.
say.
I would say it's like maybe
Well,
the
you're
snowball effect of using your
sure
other power.
you're getting better with your time travel powers.
Sure.
We won't go into it any more than that.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering now, because obviously they're going to try and right the wrong that happened for me in episode 2, but that didn't happen for you. So it's like, are they not going to address that? Because that seems like the first thing that Max wants to do is fix what happened in episode 2. But in your game, she doesn't have to worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
So I'm curious where that's gonna go.
well, this is what the problem is that I love what they're doing right now. They are taking a huge chance, and I am scared and excited to see how they do this, because they could use this and fuck up, like, everything, or they could make it so intriguing. But right now, how I feel about it is that, first of all, the ending of 3, if people haven't been playing this series, you have to, and you have to see the ending of 3 at least, because I'm not going to spoil any of that here. But, like, even as it stands for itself, it is a perfect culmination of, like, the middle point of this series. Like, something big happened, and now there's going to be, I don't know how they're going to fit in, like, in the next 2 episodes, run off from that. But anyways, something huge happens, but my problem with it is that it feels like it could undermine the reason why you would play anything at the beginning 2 episodes at all. Because if, let's just say if she had this power, it doesn't matter what you've ever done. Ever.
I guess, but the character's evolving. That seems good for a story. Characters have to evolve and grow, and she's doing that.
It seems good, and I hope it stays good. I'm just a little worried that they could do something weird. But
Okay, well, I'm sure not everything's going to be peachy for Max and the people of
no,
Acadia Bay or whatever. So
no.
But yeah, no, episode 3 still great. Continuing your and my extensive coverage on what kind of school is she part of. Some new evidence has been uncovered that I noticed. The stepdad refers to them all as like dumb college kids.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're in college. Then you find out she's 18, which, okay, for freshman at college. But then they just keep saying high school. So once again, I have no idea what this school is. Yeah. But the hunt will continue. We will hopefully figure out what is happening with this school system. Is it like grade 13? Is it maybe some kind of summer school?
This is the only thing that's interested you in this whole series.
I'm pretty sure that's the big question. And I hope by episode 5 we have a good conclusion that that really kind of brings everything full circle and makes us realize, oh, they were hinting at this all along. That was the big mystery. So we can only hold out for that. We've been playing.
Okay, I've started The Witcher 3. And how familiar are you with Witcher games?
I know they exist.
Okay, that's a pretty good start. So
I haven't played any of them, but I hear 3 is real good.
It is. So the Witcher games basically very lore and story focused, because there's books on this as well. Or
Did you read the books?
No.
You didn't read the books. What kind of fan are you?
I'm not a huge one, honestly. Like, the stories in games are not really something I go to games for primarily, which is why it's weird that I like Life is Strange so much, and that's why you should play it, because it does something interesting with the story. But anyways, so the story is not too important to me. I don't really like the main character in the Witcher games, but mechanically, I really like how they play. Like, I really like the combat systems in them. I'm trying to compare it to something right now, but the only thing that I could say would be like The Witcher 2, where they streamlined it a little bit more. So,
hang on. You're saying if fans of Witcher 2 will find something they like in Witcher 3?
Yeah,
Okay, wow. All right.
go figure it.
I'm glad people come to this podcast for
For
all the
the
good
breaking
info.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but like for me, it is just one of the things where I really like the world it's set in, the like kind of gross, almost Black Plague like medieval times where like there's just monsters running around and you're playing basically like a medieval Ghostbuster who gets paid to go around and kill the monsters for people. Like I don't know. It's a really nice atmosphere and stuff I can get behind. I grew up like loving the folklore monsters and all that sort of stuff, like the griffins and like the swamp people and like all this weird gross shit. So
Okay.
there's that. Mechanically it plays very well. It plays kind of like a hack and slash, like maybe a Devil May Cry, but not stylistic and fast, but more methodical and slow with like a lot of dodging and stuff. Almost somewhere between like a Devil May Cry and a Dark Souls with the combat. So it plays very nice in that regard. You have
Okay.
your RPG elements where you level stuff up, you get you get objectives to get more money into new items and stuff like that. So it's just one of these open world games that you can lose yourself in for a while, and that's what I've kind of been doing. So it's been a
Been
good
hearing
time.
a lot of complaints about the character movement feeling weird.
Yeah, so you're always kind of in a run, so you can overshoot things weird because you
Yeah,
have a
that's
weird
what
turning momentum.
like it's kind of like did you play the Uncharted games?
Yes.
Is it kind of like Nathan Drake where he like there's a lot of animation priority where he's always taking a couple steps too far or something?
There is a turning momentum. And
Yeah.
but I would say it's worse than the Uncharted games.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
So it feels kind of gross, but yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it. It's one of these games that I've played 3 hours of, and people say there's like 200 hours worth of content. So basically, the only thing I can say about it right now is that I will be playing more of it, and I've enjoyed what I've played so far for the $60 price tag.
And remind me, sorry, did you play any of the other Witcher games?
Yes, I played most
Okay.
of one and probably 2 hours of two.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Um, cool. And you're playing the PC version, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've been hearing just great things. GameSpot gave that a 10.
Yeah, so the PC version is really well optimized, runs really good, looks beautiful, and yeah, I mean, it's what you would expect from like a studio that has done a game before basically. I also kind of like that they take the stance of like there's no, what are they called, like exclusives, retailer exclusive, no like DLCs day one, none of that stuff. You buy the game and you play it. Like
Cool.
it's kind of nice to have that again.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Um,
I'm looking forward to playing more of it. I need to play more before I can talk more about
going
it.
back to the books for a quick second. Have you ever read any like ancillary
Yeah,
media for games?
I've read all the Mass Effect ones. And
I didn't know that. So have I. Have you read all four?
what was the last one? I might have missed the last one.
It was really bad and everyone hated it. Like it was factually incorrect in a lot of
What
sense.
was the name of it?
Oh man, I don't even remember. Dude, that was like 4 years ago. Hang on.
I might not have because I don't remember hating any of the Mass Effect books I read. So if everyone hated it, either I liked it or I didn't read it.
Deception.
No, that doesn't
Okay.
sound familiar to
Yeah,
me.
so the first three were like a trilogy,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And they were all good. They were by the
I thought
same
there was
author.
only 3.
Originally there was three. Then they put out another one, new author, had the same character in it, which was odd because at the end of three, they tied a bow on that.
Yeah.
And I remember when it came out because I was really into the books at the time, so I kind of read them all back to back. And I remember the fans literally put together a Google Doc of all the factual errors.
I
that it was
remember
breaking
hearing
from
about
from
this.
the Mass Effect universe. Stuff like one of the characters just like stabbing a Krogan in the back, and then they would be like, "You can't." The back of his neck is literally like rock.
Yes. It's true. I
yeah, that
remember
was weird.
hearing about that spreadsheet or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't recommend reading it. There's no real point. But those
Okay.
first three books are enjoyable. So
Yeah.
I was actually yeah, that's what I was thinking of when you mentioned. I always wanted to read the comics, but just never really got
The
around
comic
to it. There's
I've read one, I think. It was like a just random one sitting on a comic book store shelf, so I bought it. It's
okay,
somewhere around here.
yeah, I want to pick up a few of the trades because there's a few of them now. I think so.
What was the one chick's name? Aria? Do you know who I'm talking about? The like
Yeah, the blue girl.
yeah, the leader of like that
Yeah, to
outpost or
Sony or something.
yeah. It was like a 3 to 5 arc of basically her losing, like being overthrown and then taking it back. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, someone in that chat is asking. The comics are Dark Horse, I believe. I believe you're correct. They're
Yes.
from Dark Horse. Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, I've read a book of Dragon Age. That was really cool and made me really like Dragon Age Origins a lot more. And I've read 2 Warcraft books.
Okay, I read an Assassin's Creed book
Yeah.
that literally just was the exact story from Assassin's Creed 2. So
Amazing.
that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I also read the Alan Wake book, which once again was just the story from Alan Wake. So that was also just kind of a bummer.
That's really lame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know what I was expecting from them, but I was just reading them around the time those games came out, and I was just like, I really like Alan Wake. Yeah, I want to read this. Oh, this is the game I played. Okay, well,
Well,
okay,
shit.
yeah, all right. And I'm trying to think if I've done any others. I mean, I watched some Sonic cartoons.
Fuck yeah, you did. I did that all my life, yo. I love those.
I saw that Prince of Persia movie.
Yeah, I did too. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, chesty Jake Gyllenhaal.
Very chesty.
Actually, I have another one of the Assassin's Creed books. I think. Or wait, no, I don't. I remember there was another one coming out, and it was just the story of Brotherhood, and I was like, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Not happening. Didn't pick that up.
Okay, cool.
But you've been playing Elite Dangerous
I've been playing Elite Dangerous. It is
with an
great.
Oculus Rift.
I wish. I actually want an Okay, so this is legitimately the first game I've ever played where I am looking into buying a flight stick.
Whoa. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So,
Do you know what? Are you like? Do you know what flight stick you want, or are you
No.
just starting to think of it?
I just started to like look around. Apparently, some friends of mine that have been playing as well say that there's one that the developers were using, and they say it's only $150. So I might just jump on that bandwagon.
Do you know what that one's called?
I don't know. I'd have to look at.
Hoss?
Maybe.
Because I've definitely heard it before. Because a few of the podcasts I listen to, they've talked about it. Hoss is definitely a name. I don't know if it's the one, but it's ringing some bells. But yes, I know there is a one that the developers specifically use that they like modeled it. So yeah, you should look into that.
Yeah, I will for sure. So anybody that doesn't know, Elite Dangerous is basically flying around in space simulator, and it's great. It does that very well. So you can do some different things, like basically to get money, you have to kind of just do career missions, but that's kind of okay because you're going to be spending a lot of time just learning the ins and outs of flying around and moving your ship around. Like this game doesn't do anything for you. There's no like even automatic docking procedure. You have to land your ship on the right spaceport and like then lock in and stuff. And yeah,
Do you like flight sims? Like,
not particularly, but there's something
Okay.
about this. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the freedom. Like you can throw yourself into a weird spin really easily because I've been using mouse and keyboard, and the mouse controls are kind of touchy, which is why I want a flight stick. But it's really good for just listening to music or podcasts and chilling out a bit, traveling around from like star system to star system, like bringing couriering. Oh my god, I can't talk today. Like shipping goods around for
Sure.
people. And as you get like better ships, you can do bounty hunting, you can like do whatever you want. You can be like a space pirate and hijack people. So I'm really looking forward to getting good, but first of all, I need to get better at flying the ship because I've been crashing a few times. It's not easy to navigate those menus.
So, when you're not docking ships, what are you doing? What's the point of the game?
Uh, Basically just taking jobs for money until you can like upgrade your ships and cannons and shields, whatever. And then I will probably I have a group of friends that we're all playing together. I'm trying to get up to like whatever ships they're using, and then we can just start like hijacking people, I think. So that'll
Is there
be
like
fun.
PvP?
Oh yeah, like you can shoot people
Okay,
down and all that stuff if you want.
cool.
You steal all their
Cool.
shit. So
All right.
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting better at that game, and I'm getting asked, would you get an Oculus Rift for this game? Not only for this game, but I've been wanting an Oculus Rift for a while to play around with. This is definitely one that would be a contender for making me pull the trigger finally. It's not even out yet, though, right? It's still like
No.
a dev kit.
Yep.
That's
I think
too
you
bad.
should just wait for the actual one to come out.
That's kind of what I want to do so that there's
Yeah.
actual support for it for consumers and like you don't have to tinker around with a dev kit.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it'll just be a better product,
That's it. And it'll be
like
maybe
hardware-wise.
cheaper too, a little bit. So we'll see.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Other than that, that's all I've been playing. So
All right. Let's go on to a little bit of news. I'm gonna start with the big one because this literally shocked me when I heard about this. New Humble Bundle out
yeah,
for Nintendo games.
well, games on Nintendo systems.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, because when
Just
you said
like-
for Nintendo games, I was like, you can buy Mario and Humble. What the fuck?
Well, just on Nintendo systems. Like,
Yeah.
I was shocked. This is a company that doesn't know the internet exists.
Right?
They barely know downloadable content exists.
They barely know that
They-
they have fans.
They hold fun for hostage on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is of the three big, console manufacturers, the first ones that have touched into the Humble Bundle. Like, I could see Sony doing this. They have a huge push for indies right now. I could see Microsoft doing this. They know the internet. Like, they
Yes.
have a great internet structure ecosystem with their systems. But Nintendo being the first one, I would never have guessed this
Yeah, me neither.
ever. So I definitely bought it. Like, I gotta support that. I gotta show Nintendo that if they reach out to the internet, I will give them money. For those curious, the games right now, for the pay what you want part, it's a Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition for the Wii U, Woe Dave on 3DS,
Yep.
Mighty Switch Force on 3DS, which that was one of the ones I was definitely excited about because John is always raving about.
It's really
Mighty Switch
good.
Force game.
It's really good.
If you pay more than $10, you get Stealth Inc. 2 and SteamWorld Dig. Both of those are on Wii U. You also get a SteamWorld Dig on 3DS as well.
Yep.
And then if you pay more than the average, which is currently $9.24,
Yep.
you get the Fall on Wii U, which I've been excited to play ever since it wasn't working properly on my PC and when Giant Bomb gave it their Story of the Year for 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Ollie Ollie, just the first one on Wii U and 3DS, and Moon Chronicles Episode 1 on the 3DS, which I watched the trailer and it looks bad, but
Sure.
you get that as well. More games coming soon, obviously. Yeah, so, it's not the most exciting news, but just from like an industry standpoint, I thought this was crazy.
It's honestly quite big because Humble Bundle is finally like reaching out to real consoles, not just like the mobile market.
Well, they've been doing PC, right? Like they've done
exactly.
PC, they've done Android, and they've done ebooks
Yes.
and audiobooks, I guess.
No, this is a
That's-
huge step for them. It's really good.
So this is totally great, and I want this to happen on more consoles for sure. I'm just so surprised that it was Nintendo first. If you had asked me, I would have been like probably Sony
Or
'cause Sony's
Microsoft.
doing. If I had to name one, I would have gone Sony because they have such a push for indie games and just getting the weirdest stuff on their systems right now.
Yes.
That's what I definitely would have guessed it with. But that's great. Someone in the chat is asking, only heard of Humble Bundle. What exactly do you do? Humble Bundle is a service, humblebundle.com. where you can pay what you want for a bundle of games.
Yes.
Which there's like a new bundle every 3 days now. Back in our day, it was like a bundle every 3 months,
Yeah.
and they were always amazing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're amazing so much anymore, but they're still great deals if you're interested in those games. Um, Final Deluxe is saying Nintendo's been really indie friendly as of late. That is true.
Yeah.
Still just a shock to me, but a great step forward.
Yeah.
This is totally awesome.
One thing I'm bummed out about, if it's true, they were saying in the chat that it's region locked to USA only, like to the Americas.
Oh, is that true?
And if that's true, that's kind of a bummer.
That is a total bummer. I don't even know why that would be.
Because Nintendo of America makes smart decisions. It's Nintendo of Japan that does all the dumb shit.
Yeah, I wonder how you'd even figure that out. Like, how far into the process? Like, if you go to the page, does it just look normal for you?
It's just normal for me. I'm guessing maybe they figured out because they live in the EU and tried buying it, and it wouldn't let them.
And yeah, a couple of people are saying, yeah, only for America. That's a huge bummer.
Yes.
But for once, I get to just smile at that
because they are holding the fun hostage for the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's region locked stuff is silly, but that's that. Well, you know that dampened things for me, but
a little bit.
I mentioned earlier I have a bunch of stuff on my 3DS to play now. That's because of that. I downloaded.
You'll have even more too because they're going to be announcing what the more games coming soon is soon.
Right, I am leaving in just over a week, so I don't know if they'll add more, but if they do, that would be real cool.
They will.
I really wish the fall was on 3DS. I know it wouldn't look great, but that's out of all of them. It was like I want to play the fall. I really want to play the fall, and John keeps talking about my Switch Force, so I'll play that one for sure. Anyway, we also got the list of the PlayStation Plus games. Another just great list. Like, way to go, Sony. Starting off PlayStation 4, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. That's a great get. Like, that's awesome. Skulls of the Shogun Bonafide Edition for PS4. That's a fun tactics RPG. I've played a few levels of that. Kind of a neat twist on the tactics games. So if you like Fire Emblem, you'll probably be into that.
Oh my god, I just saw what the last two games are. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Super Exploding Zoo for PlayStation Vita and PS4. I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
But Sony keeps putting weird games in their PlayStation Plus lineup that I'm finding quite delightful, so I will check that out.
Sure.
Future Idiom EP Deluxe for PS Vita and PlayStation 4. I have no idea what that is either. Guess I'll check that out. And then two that I won't be playing because my PS3 is no longer with me. But some great games. Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which was just a ton of fun.
So good. If anybody should check that out if they can.
Yeah, I played a good chunk of the PC version. That was a lot of fun. And then Cloudberry Kingdom on PS3. That's a great platformer. John, huge fan of that game. I'm sure lots of our listeners know John's history with that game.
Yeah. It's really good.
But yeah, so there's that. People are saying rest in peace my PlayStation 3. It's at my parents' house. It's functioning. I don't play it anymore.
No, it's dead.
It's 2015. I got my PS4.
You just can't move on. You don't want to admit it's dead. Push F in chat to pay respects to Sean's PS3.
Okay. All right. I put this in here because maybe you'd find it exciting.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 0 HD remastered coming early 2016.
I will have it by the end of the year from the Japanese PlayStation Store, I'm sure.
You guys go.
I'm so stoked. I love that game. Kind of. It's not very good, but I want a remaster of it, so I'm stoked.
All right, we're up to 5 people who have paid respect. 7 people have now paid respect. 8 people paying respect to my PS3, which is fine. My PS3 is fine, by the way, as I just said. There's nothing wrong with it. It's literally in its box in a closet. It's totally functional.
To pay respects to Sean's PS3, topdownperspective@gmail.com. Send us a message saying F.
Oh, that's 10 people. All right. This was just a short thing. They announced, or they saw, I should say, because it was quietly put out there. Mortal Kombat X on the 360 and PS3 delayed to fall. I didn't know it wasn't out, but apparently it was supposed to be coming in June. It's been pushed back, and GameStop has it on their website currently as December 31st, which will be a placeholder title. So I'm still assuming fall, I guess, but that's just kind of weird that that's getting pushed back so far.
Yeah.
Where are we at? 10 people, now we're at 11? All right. Um, and then last little bit, again, kind of a rumory thing. The Xbox One Game Store has a release date for the new Need for Speed game as November 3rd. No actual confirmation, but that's the release date they have put in on their website. You can see that right now.
Yeah.
Which seems like a totally reasonable date. You know, fall, November. So there's that.
Yeah.
That was it for the news. Let's go through all these questions.
Oh man, so many questions.
How do people send us questions?
If you wanted to add to the pile, you should have sent it earlier, but you can do so for next week by going topdownperspective@gmail.com or TDP Podcast on Twitter, or I think there's a Facebook, which is Top Down Perspective. I mean, you could probably talk to us on Twitter at our own private things if you want. There's a subreddit, TDP. There's a few ways you can do that.
There's just so much.
There's
so
too
much.
many ways, but seriously, email is probably the best way that we will always see. Maybe don't use the subreddit for questions you want answered right away.
Email and Twitter are definitely the ones
Email and
that
Twitter.
get checked the most.
Yeah.
Okay, this first one comes in from Dynamew. If you could be one character from the Smash Bros. Roster, who would you be? He would be Ness.
If I could be one character?
Yep.
Oh man.
Captain Falcon would be fun. On with those with the space cars.
Yeah?
I would also enjoy Olimar because just checking out those planets and hanging out with Pikmin seems cool.
I think this is where you put in like a gross comment saying if I was Link I could bang Zelda.
I mean, I don't think you have to put that comment in there, but it's too late now. So that's in the podcast forever.
Yeah. In all honesty, I would probably be Pokemon trainer. Because
that's a good one.
I would have Pokemon.
Then you'd have Pokemon, yeah.
Exactly.
That's a cool one. Okay. All right.
Okay, DJ writes in, sometimes games are smash successes critically, and while those games provide enormous amounts of enjoyment for us, we often feel like they can't do better with that concept. My question this time around, what specifically do you think it would take to make, as of now, hypothetical Shovel Knight and Ori sequels equal or surpass their predecessors, or is DLC the only way they can add to these titles?
I'm a little confused with the question. So we're asking that when a game comes out and it's so good, there's no way a sequel can be that good. Like they've done it.
Like, I think the question is, like, is there a way that you can make these great games better in a second game, or do you just add on to the thing that's already a good groundwork?
You just make more of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then he specifically is asking about Shovel Knight and Ori sequels. Well, more levels is clearly the easiest way, but that would be a DLC kind of move.
With Ori, yeah, DLC for Shovel Knight, Ori, a sequel would be better just because it's a contained thing.
I think Ori would be really hard because immediately I think add a new traversal power and that would change everything up, but then that would break the entire world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why you would need an actual sequel, whereas I think you could just do DLC with something like Shovel Knight.
Right. I think a sequel for Ori would also be odd narratively.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, it would be.
I like... Yeah, exactly. I don't really want an Ori 2. I don't know where that would go, because this... Oh, man, the catastrophe happened again.
Again.
Like, it just would make no sense. Shovel Knight, I could easily see a Shovel Knight 2.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, do you give him a new power? Because I felt like his limited power set was kind of, like, ideal. Like, it was kind of nice, and it was, it was old school in which he can only do, like, he has, like, this one move.
I think what you would do is you would make a new game, and Shield Knight would be with you, because you were looking for her in the first one, and when you find her, like, roughly around the end, like the second game would just be you can maybe switch between them for different puzzles or
Maybe
something.
kind of a Mario and Luigi thing
Yeah.
where Luigi jumps higher.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. But I think making a Shovel Knight 2, yeah, it would be very Mario-esque in terms of like it would be basically the same game, but we have new levels. We have new obstacles you're gonna have to jump through.
Right.
Um, Final Deluxe in the chat says Shovel Knight 64. I kind of just like the name scheme of that.
Yeah.
That's enticing to me.
It feels good.
Joey writes in two questions. First, he says, I decided a few days ago to go back and replay Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which I loved as a kid. But upon starting a new game, I found it really difficult to get back into. I just wasn't able to enjoy it at all, really. Are there any games you played as a kid or when you were younger that you absolutely loved then, but don't like quite so much or at all now? I will just say there was a time I liked Mario Party.
That's pretty big of you to be able to admit that.
I can admit that. I can admit that, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
At one point, we're all dumb kids that don't know any better. And at one point, I wanted to play Mario Party.
Sure. I really liked Siphon Filter back when that was like... Okay, you know what? I'm just going to make this broader. Basically, everything on the Nintendo 64, early Nintendo 64 games and early PlayStation 1 games, I loved back then. Going back to them now is really fucking hard because they were still trying to figure out how to do 3D, and it shows because most of the games from that time play like shit now.
There's a lot like that for sure, yeah. I'm just trying to think if like any N64, PS1 games I have, if I could go back, and it would be hard. Like original Smash Bros. I played a lot of that, but it's just like, why would I play this one?
Yeah.
Or like Mario Kart 64, like why would I play this version of it? And yeah, they kind of just do look like ass.
Yeah. Metal Gear on the NES doesn't feel good.
I didn't play much of that one, so I could probably go back to it and it would be fine.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing really specific game is sticking out to me. His second question is anything you can think of ones from now or when you were a kid.
Reader Rabbit.
I don't think I played many edutainment games. I mean, I played Typing of the Dead a bit.
Oh, Typing of the Dead. Yeah.
Which is real good.
Yeah.
And they remade it like what, 2 years ago, a year ago?
Typing of the Dead Overkill.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Great.
Yeah, everybody should buy it.
I don't think I played very many edutainment games though. Oh, you know what? I played a Magic School Bus computer game back in like grade 2 that was awesome.
That sounds great. Magic School Bus is the bomb.
All I can remember about it was that like the Saturn planet, like it was based on the episode where they go to space.
Okay.
And every level was some kind of platformer, and you had like jetpacks and stuff. And I just remember Saturn being like the hardest because there was no ground because it was a gas planet, right?
Yeah.
So the platforming was really hard, and all the rocks that you could jump on were icy. But thinking back on it, I think it was only really hard because the controls and physics just kind of sucked. So going back to the first question, I bet if I went back to the Magic School Bus game, I wouldn't have much fun.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. James writes in, "Hey, top downers. Question mainly directed at Sean. I've been playing Crypt of the Necrodancer."
For the record, I think you can totally answer this as well.
Okay. I haven't read any of these questions yet, so they're all surprise to me. I've been playing Crypt of the Necrodancer recently, and my early excitement for the game diminished as soon as I got past Zone 1. I'm stuck on 2-1, which maybe wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't so dependent on the music. But I've heard the first 30 seconds or 2 minutes of the music of 2-1 so many times, it could have been the entire soundtrack and I wouldn't know otherwise. I know the music is a huge part of how the game operates, and I do love the music in that game, but I can't listen to 2-1 anymore. But you can't exactly mute it and play a podcast or something over to make it more bearable. Sean, how did you stick with the game so long without getting bored?
And yeah, I mentioned you can answer this too because you also played a lot of Crypt of the Necrodancer. So how did I do it? I didn't get stuck that often. I didn't play it in a lot. Like at my game sessions were not that long. It was kind
Yeah.
of more like I'd play a few deaths and then stop for the day. But I just kept coming back to it every day, which I feel like that was probably the biggest factor of how I was able to kind of push through any moments where I got stuck. Um, it is kind of hard. Like it's even though you can start each zone from the get go as opposed to having to start at the very first level. Um, that's I almost don't recommend that because then you're just like so underpowered. Like you need that first zone to like get all the bonuses. But again, Crypto Necrodancer, you can put your own music in there.
Yeah, you can.
Doesn't that just kind of solve the problem?
Yeah, I've played around with the putting your own music in there. I mean, go figure, but you kind of have to use dance songs or like EDM or techno or whatever, something with like a very pronounced beat, because I've tried just putting like rock songs in there and it's kind of hit or miss when it finds the beat. So there is that, but if you listen to that sort of stuff, like you're probably fine doing that. Honestly, you hit the nail on the head, I think. Like, dude, just play it for like maybe 3 sessions or whatever until you feel like you're doing like bad just because you're getting sick of it or whatever, and then put it away. Like you can come back to it. It's fine.
Yep. Yep. And there was even a portion where I was only turning it on just to do the daily challenge. So that was also a case.
Yeah.
A kind of a sub answer to this one. I have totally muted rhythm games before
Yeah.
and put a podcast on just because I wanted to complete it. I did that with several of the Guitar Hero games, even Rock Band, because there was probably some achievement where it was like play everything on medium, and it's like, well, I'm better than medium, but I want this achievement or whatever, so I got to get medium finished.
Yeah.
I remember there was a session of DJ Hero that I just muted, and you just play it. So that's doable. It goes against kind of the entire genre, but I've done that several times.
Yeah.
Funny enough. All right, the great B-Man writes in with just a great email. I'm very happy he sent this one in. So buckle up. Here we go. Last week, while announcing the news, you guys stated that you never saw anyone with a Wii U Basic before, with Paul himself asking that if anyone out there knew such a person, they should write in. Well, it just so happens that I have seen this mythical creature known as the Wii U Basic owner with my own eyes, my father.
Oh, no.
He purchased one as a present for my half-siblings. When I asked him about why he bought the 8 gig model as opposed to the vastly superior 32 gig model, his answer simply was because it was cheaper. Even after explaining everything he missed out on from not getting the 32 gig model, he just sort of shrugged.
Yeah, okay.
This implies a combination of not only cheapness, but also ignorance, which I theorize is a common trait among Wii U Basic owners. Perhaps this is another side effect of Nintendo's poor marketing of the Wii U. As an added bonus, when the inevitable problem of not enough space finally did arrive, how did he solve the problem? Not with an external hard drive, like a smart individual, but with a flash drive instead, something Nintendo themselves told their customers not to do since they aren't meant for long-term storage. Those kids are going to be so sad when their Super Smash Bros. Data suddenly gets erased with no explanation.
Wow.
This is great. I'm so glad you wrote in about this. And then he says, as for a question, let's say on the topic of my father. That's a great first sentence right there. Some Christmases ago, he gifted me a copy of Tony Hawk Ride.
Oh, man. Your dad is the best, worst gifter.
Keep in mind, when I did receive this gift, he puts that in quotations, it had been at least 2 or 3 years since the game came out.
Wow.
So everyone should have known by now how terrible and broken it was. Based on memory, what would you classify as the worst game-related gift you received? I love this because I love that it was 2 or 3 years since it came out. So this thing was probably $10.
Wow. Yeah. He was probably paid by GameStop to take it.
Oh my God. Yeah, like we want the shelf space back. Please buy this thing. We'll throw in Tony Hawk Shred or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This This is so funny. Um,
I've never
I
had
can totally
bad.
see this happening. Like even though he mentions 2 or 3 years since it came out, everyone should have known it by the case. My parents would not know it. My parents are not into video games whatsoever. They are the kind of
Sure.
parents that when I was a kid, they would walk in the store and say, "What do 8-year-old boys like to play?" And they'd come home with a copy of like Zelda or something. Lucky me.
Yeah.
Um, not being sarcastic. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But so I could definitely see that happening. Worst gift that game related that you got. My problem with this is my parents eventually started asking like, "Hey, what would you like me to get you, or could you get me a list of what you would like?" So it became really easy because I would even put pictures down.
Yeah.
Um, so if I got a bad game, it was because I asked for something bad. But this did happen once. It was before I knew the game was terrible, but I asked for a copy of Soul Calibur Legends
Oh no.
for the Wii.
I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
Luckily, when my mom opened when I got it, and I was like, "Oh, mom, actually," and this was awkward because I basically was like, "Oh, I know I asked for this, but this game is actually terrible. Can we return it?" um,
I love it.
which we did, and I ended up getting something else. So I don't think I've gotten a bad game related gift really. I mean, the worst games I've played were totally my fault. Like I went to that HMV and bought a copy of Rock Revolution because it was $5 and I needed to see.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I can't think of my parents really coming up with something that bad. My dad got me a one of those plastic shells for the Wiimote so that it's a gun,
Yeah.
but not the zapper, just some generic third party thing. Like you know how there's those weird like tennis racket attachments you can get.
Dude, I have those, but I bought them myself.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
But so I got some weird gun and I was like, "Oh, what made you think of this?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I saw you playing some game and you were like shooting through a wall or something, so I thought it'd be good." I have no idea what he was talking about. I have literally no idea what he would have seen me doing. I think around that time I was playing like Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have that in a box somewhere. Um,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
I don't really have any worst game related gift. Like a a friend of mine gifted me Five Nights at Freddy's when that came out, and I hate him for that. So
Shadow Blades in the chat is going back to the father. He says he must spend hours upon hours to pick the worst gaming investments of the year as gifts.
it shows he cares. He's a good father that way.
Hey, it's the thought that counts, right?
Honestly, yeah, it is because I never really got gaming gifts. So I would have loved to get Ride just for the story.
I'm actually kind of like if I found a cheap copy of Ride and my 360 or PS3 were here, I would have picked that up because like I said, I bought Rock Revolution just for the kicks.
Yeah,
Um,
I think getting Tony Hawk Ride is the equivalent of getting like socks and underwear for Christmas. Like it's something that you probably should have, but you will never buy for yourself.
sure, sure. I do. In his first little story, though, when he says perhaps this is another side effect of Nintendo's poor marketing of the Wii U, I could definitely see that. There
Yeah.
was a lot of issues with that. That kind of a good point. And that made me think, like, what do you think the chances are, maybe even at this E3, of them announcing another Wii U, same hardware, but with just bigger storage? Because Microsoft and Sony do that all the time.
Nintendo has never seemed like the company to give a shit about that, but
You're right, and I was also thinking the fact like since the Wii U's are selling so bad, why put out a more expensive one?
that's kind of the thing too, yeah.
Yeah,
Because they
but
already
like
have shelves stocked with stuff they can't sell. So,
right. What about okay, hypothetical scenario? They put out Wii U Super or whatever.
yeah,
It's still a Wii U. It's got I don't know 200 gigs on it or something. Something okay,
sure.
decent for the Wii U, I should say. Same price. It's just this is the one now.
I mean, I would probably buy one.
Do you not have a Wii U?
Yeah, but like, I'm
How
running out
good
of
for you?
space. Yeah, I have a Wii U, but I'm running out of
Oh,
space on it already.
okay,
Even if they
okay.
just put out a hard drive for like $80.
Well, you can just get a hard drive,
Yeah, no,
right?
I know, but like I've had problems before with third party stuff or whatever. Like if Nintendo put out a proprietary like you have our guarantee this will work seamlessly, I would
Okay,
probably do it.
okay. Um, yeah, I was just kind of thinking about that this week. When the Humble Bundle came out, and I was like, do I even have space for these? But they weren't that big, so
That's a
it wasn't a
great
big.
email.
That was yes. Thanks again for writing that one in.
Great story.
You want to take this next one?
Yeah, David writes in saying, "Has there ever been a time where you felt a major content update to a game managed to ruin the game for you? Not counting updates that cause a game to literally become unplayable, i.e., crashing."
Did we read this one before? This seems really familiar. Anyway,
Hmm.
I can't. An update that made it worse.
This is a thing that happens in MMOs quite a bit.
Okay.
I don't know if it's necessarily a thing that makes it worse, but it usually changes something that you've liked about the game before. Usually to try to get more people to play it because MMOs kind of live or die by how many people are playing it at any given time. The one I'm talking about specifically right now is World of Warcraft and how they streamlined a lot of the dungeon stuff to make it feel like there's no real reason to do dungeons anymore, like for character progression, and that kind of ruined the my favorite part of the game, which is why I don't play it as much as I used to back in the day.
This isn't one for me, but I often hear about people playing just old versions of like Counter-Strike
Okay, yeah,
because they've
1.6.
yeah, because they've like changed how the gun works or whatever. So everyone prefers an older version. Um,
Yeah,
Also a bit similar people who still play the original StarCraft.
yeah. Basically, any game that had like a pro scene or an MLG scene or whatever at some point, there are people that are so ingrained to how that game used to work mechanically that when they streamline it and update stuff, it does break the game in a huge way for them. So they just usually revert to playing what they grew up playing, basically. So those are like, yeah, those are the ones that people always talk about. Also, Modern Warfare 2, people still play a lot more than the newer ones. And yeah, shooters seem to have that effect a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and people they're constantly changing like fighting games.
Yeah.
Not many of the games I play does this happen that often.
Yeah.
Psychotic Gex says tomorrow is Black Amiibo Friday. Are you planning on trying to get the Amiibos? Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Yeah, so Amiibos are coming out, and I already pre-ordered the ones I want, so I will be getting Wario, Pac-Man, and Charizard in the mail.
Who else is coming out?
I believe the Fire... I've never played Fire Emblem, so before people start hating on me, like, I don't
Hey,
know.
you have a 3DS. Fire Emblem Awakening is real good.
I know, but I need... Okay, so I was actually at Toys R Us yesterday, and I
Okay.
was looking for... I was
That's
like,
how all good stories start, by the way.
no, this is how this good potential story ends poorly.
Okay.
I was looking for a game that I really wanted to get into, and I was looking for like 999 or VLR or like any of the Shin Megami Tensei games. Basically, like I wanted an RPG to play, basically,
Okay.
and the only one I found was Devil Survivor 2, which I've
Okay.
never played one, so obviously I'm gonna want to play that first.
I actually own one.
Yeah, I've seen
Surprisingly.
one for $10 laying around places, and it wasn't until about a month ago my friend Hank was like, "Yeah, that game's actually really good," and I was like, "Oh fuck, I should have picked it up." But, anyways, Toys R Us sucks. They had nothing that I wanted to play. They had a lot of
There's an
copies of Pokemon though.
there's an eShop. Like I'm assuming like some of those games are on the eShop. I know Fire Emblem is.
Things have changed in my household because with the purchase of the new 3DS, I gave my old one to my girlfriend, so now I have to buy the cartridges so she can get my hand-me-downs to play the games I've been playing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I see what you're doing there.
yeah.
Um, Fire Emblem is real good. I don't know if you're into tactics games, but Fire Emblem Awakening is real good.
I'm into good tactics games.
Fire Emblem Awakening,
It's a good
highly
tactic game.
recommended. It's yeah, Fire
Do
Emblem
I have
Awakening
to
is
have played or like
no,
know? And okay,
no. I believe this one's like I believe it was a new one as well. So, but then again, like most, I think almost all the Fire Emblem ones, they like loosely connect. Like at most, it's like, oh, you're the son of the guy from the last one. Well, here's a new story happening anyway. So, similar to just yeah, how the Final Fantasies loose have like characters that kind of move over, but they're not even the same really.
Yeah,
So
just kind of loosely.
yeah, no,
So the other ones are Greninja, Jigglypuff, Lucina, Ness, which I believe people were saying is impossible to get, so I didn't even bother trying to get Ness, and Robin.
I would have been into both of those Fire Emblem ones, and Greninja's cool. So
I could, yeah, I didn't have the option to order Greninja, otherwise I would
yeah,
have.
yeah. Tons of people in the chat also praising Fire Emblem Awakening. That was I think that was the community game of the year last year.
Yes, it was.
Was Awakening? It was either that or Zelda were like going back and forth.
I think it was Fire Emblem.
And by last year I mean 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
But I think Fire Emblem Awakening might have been like the best 2013 game of 2014.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But yeah, no, Fire Emblem Awakening, highly recommend that game.
Okay, cool. Okay, next question comes from Michael. Okay, he has two questions here. I got a little confused by that. So, there's been a truck full of Splatoon amiibo stolen. Thoughts on this? Did you hear about this?
I didn't. No.
So, apparently somebody stole a truck full of Splatoon shit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I gathered that much.
Yeah.
So, thanks for elaborating.
I guess it was in the UK or something. So, I have he included a link, or somebody included a link. I'll just quickly read here. A ton of Nintendo fans in the UK have been left without the games they pre-ordered after a truck full of copies of Splatoon and related Splatoon amiibo were stolen. The theft of the truck, lifted on its way from Nintendo's European warehouse to British chain Game, means that anyone who pre-ordered Splatoon Special Edition from the retailer won't be getting their copy. It's amazing. Somebody stole the truck full of shit.
That's just hijacked this truck and like... You don't understand. These things are worth millions.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I'm imagining like a crew are ready to like take this truck, but like only the guy in charge knows what like
what's
the
in
bounty is. Yeah, and they're like, "Sir, what are we stealing? Is it cash? Is it gold? Is it diamonds?" And he's like, "No, it's better than all that. It's much better than all of that, and it's amiibos."
I gave you a link just because, like, if you click on it, the main header image for the story is the part in Heat where they take the truck. It's so good.
It's pretty good. So yeah, that happened.
Yes.
Actually, just going back to the Fire Emblem Awakening briefly, Echo Eclipse in the chat was saying, I enjoyed Fire Emblem Awakening, but try playing a no death playthrough. Makes it very frustrating. I'll tell you, I play every Fire Emblem that way. That's the way you play Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that's the best.
I am the type of person that, like, you say in XCOM or whatever, it's like, yeah, you can lose people. It's like, that's fine, but I autosave so much I won't. Or I will replay parts so I don't.
This one, you can't really autosave so much as just restart the level over, but that's just what I would keep doing. So
yeah.
Yep.
So the thoughts on that, I think it's hilarious I think we both think it's hilarious somebody just stole a truckload of Splatoon stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm sorry for people who aren't getting their Splatoon amiibos. But for one, they're amiibos, so who cares?
Yeah, kind of.
And for two, that's really funny.
His second question, part of that kind of is also, what's the craziest thing that's been stolen related to video games that you can think of? I think a truck full of Splatoon shit is pretty good.
What was it? This was years and years ago, and I only remembered bits and pieces of it. But there was something about a guy filling his pants full of like PSP games.
Wow. Okay.
He got caught, and that's literally all I remember about it. But that was pretty funny. Let's see if I can find anything about it. Okay, yeah, it was on GameSpot. This was back in 2006. Yeah, PSP games. This is great. Okay. Man steals 60 games in pants. That's the headline. A Myrtle Beach thief managed to nick dozens of PSP games from a Blockbuster. Man simply stuck them in his pants.
That,
The value of the game is estimated at $1,800.
huh. All right.
There you go. I thought that was pretty good. 60 P. How many games can you fit in your pants? I definitely can't fit 60. And PSP games, those were skinnier boxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Oh, go ahead.
I can't think of many other things other than like a kid trying to steal something from like a GameStop or something, which is just people steal shit all the time.
Back when I worked at EB Games, I wasn't working this shift, but one of my coworkers told me that on his shift, someone tried to steal like a full Rock Band kit or Band Hero or something,
Amazing. Okay.
and he chased him down and like tackled him, and I'm like, and he was like, it wasn't that hard because he was running with a full band kit.
Oh, that reminds me, actually. I remember seeing a picture, I think, on Reddit where somebody was, like, walking out of a Walmart with, like, the Rock Band kit, like, underneath their trench coat that was, like, sticking up right in front of their face, basically.
That's amazing.
Like, people are so dumb. But, I mean, I still think the truckload of Splatoon stuff is probably the best.
Brent writes, just like John, I have way too much in my backlog. How do I go about determining which games are most worth my time?
You don't. If you think they were ever worth your time, that's why they're in your backlog, and you just start going through them. That's all.
I think your only option is to just cry and continue to buy more games. That's generally how I do it. And I have over 1,000 games in my Steam library, and I'm on a podcast.
Yeah.
So,
That's how
like,
that gets the Proton John seal of approval, I think. Just keep buying games until you feel better.
I mean, yeah, that until you can feel. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how John does it.
Yep.
In actuality, though, how do you go through your backlog? Again, yeah, this question comes up every now and then. I like to try and play games that are shorter, just to kind of get them out of the way,
Yep.
as opposed to one game that's long. That's why I don't play a lot of RPGs anymore. I should say that's why I only play about one RPG a year now. This year, it's probably going to be VLR. I doubt I'll be getting to many others. But yeah, just if you had to like narrow it down, I like to play games that are kind of more relevant. So I'll often, if I do have some spare moments, try and play something that came out recently. But I'm on this podcast, so that I kind of try and keep up with most recent stuff.
Yep. I mean, for Steam games, a thing some of my friends do, and like I think they're crazy because I would never do this, but they actually organize their games in their Steam list by like what type of genre it is. So like FPS, third person action shooter, blah blah blah. And they will just like go onto the computer and think, what am I in the mood to play? I'm in the mood to play, say, like a real-time strategy. Okay, there's like 10 games here I can choose from, and then they'll just install and try one that they haven't played yet. You could do it that way too, I guess.
Wayward in the chat says, what you do is play one game every year. I think that's true. Also, that's a good way to ensure that you'll never die as long as you keep buying Steam games.
It's true. Keep getting those humble bundles.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, never buy every one of them.
They add 10 years on your life every time.
Every time, and that's like every week now. So, all right, last one's from Juker. Bloodstained has been going for a bit. What do you think of the backer achievements and how it raises hype? Is it a good idea? Do you remember this? Do you remember the extra achievement things they were doing?
I don't. I'm pulling up the thing as you're vying for time right now.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, in their description thing, they had set up all these like little achievements where it's like, if people send in,
the artwork,
you'll get this or something, and it's like, what are they drawing artwork of? So yeah, we talked about this a bit a few weeks ago. This is kind of the first time that we've done it, so I can't really think it's a bad idea. Like it's working for them. I guess when you're on Kickstarter, anything you can do to raise hype, they're going to try and do it. And even without it, I'm sure they would have hit their goal.
I feel kind of bad that they were expecting like vines, because that's not seeming to work out for them.
Well, again, like I was saying, what am I vining? The game's not out.
Yeah,
Like, what do you want?
exactly.
Do you want me to Vine the video on my on my screen? That's gonna look like what do you? So that's just kind of baffling to me. Um, but it's just more ways to get social media. It's like putting hashtags. They just want more people to link back. And it's marketing. It's gonna happen. It's not that obnoxious. I mean, it hasn't really come up in like my Twitter feed. I'm not getting annoyed with anything, so I
Yeah.
don't really care.
Yeah. But yeah, anything people can do to drum up hype for something they're working hard on, I'm usually for, honestly, if it's non-intrusive like this is.
And honestly, if you're someone drawing fan art for this game, you're probably interested in it. So
Mm-hmm.
all the power to you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna do it for questions this week. Again, if you guys want to send in questions or weird stories, for next week's show, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, or there's the Facebook group. John, not John. Yeah, what's John's game of the week? If we had to guess, what is he playing this week that he just loved?
That he just loved? Probably like Pokemon Shuffle.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume John's game of the week is Pokemon Shuffle. If that game doesn't come up in his top 10 list this year, I'm gonna call him out on that.
Yeah.
What is your game of the week?
It has to be Life is Strange Episode 3. You have an actually kind of tough time.
I have a tough time. I've already given it to VLR before, but I got to the end. But Life is Strange Episode 3 was cool. I don't think I was hit by Life is Strange Episode 3 as much as you. And I think just the sheer fact of like completing VLR was really exciting. So I'm gonna have to say VLR was my game of the week.
Sure.
Okay, that's gonna do it. Hopefully all three of us will be back next week. But everyone, thank you for tuning in and chatting along. We'll see you then.
Bye.